Can you imagine a village in India where prostitution isn't just a job, but a family tradition passed down through generations? What led this place into such darkness? Today, we uncover the haunting truths and explore if there's any hope for lives trapped in despair. Welcome to our channel, where we dive deep into untold stories. In this video, we'll take you to Alwar, Rajasthan, a region known for its historic forts and deserts. But hidden behind its beauty lies a chilling story. Prostitution isn't just a livelihood here. It's a way of life passed from mother to daughter. Join us as we navigate this heartbreaking tale of survival and resilience. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to join us on more journeys into the unseen corners of the world. Part 1. India, a land of contrasts. India, often celebrated as the land of diversity, is a place where ancient traditions meet modern aspirations. With over 1.4 billion people, it is the world's second most populous country and a melting pot of cultures, religions, and languages. Tourists are drawn to its vibrant festivals like Diwali and Holi, its spiritual landmarks such as the Taj Mahal and Varanasi, and its bustling cities like Mumbai and Delhi. The world sees India as a land of opportunity, a rising global power with a growing economy and a booming IT sector. But beneath this dazzling surface lies a stark reality. For millions of people living in rural India, life is a daily struggle against poverty, inequality, and neglect. One such place is Alwar, a district in the state of Rajasthan. Rajasthan is famous for its majestic forts, endless deserts, and royal heritage. It's a place where tourists come to experience the grandeur of India's past. But Alwar has another story to tell, a story hidden in plain sight. Behind the beauty of this ancient land lies a grim secret that few dare to speak of. Why Alwar? Rajasthan is home to some of the most backward regions in India. While cities like Jaipur thrive with tourism, rural areas like Alwar are plagued by extreme poverty and limited access to resources. Alwar's picturesque landscapes hide a harsh truth. Entire communities have turned to prostitution as their primary means of survival. Here, poverty is not just a condition, it's an inheritance passed from generation to generation. This stark contrast between India's rapid progress and the dire struggles of its rural communities paints a picture of a nation grappling with inequality. What drives a community to accept prostitution as a way of life? How did these villages become trapped in this endless cycle? To answer these questions, we need to delve deeper into the lives of the people of Alwar. Part 2. Forgotten Villages, Everyday Life in Alwar. Imagine waking up in a small, remote village in Alwar. The morning sun rises over the vast desert landscape, casting golden hues on the simple mud and straw homes. At first glance, it seems like a peaceful rural scene. But as you walk through the dusty streets, a different reality unfolds. Young girls, barely in their teens, stand along the roadside. They are dressed in bright, eye-catching clothes, their faces heavily made up. These girls aren't waiting for school buses or playing with friends. They are waiting for clients. For these girls, this has become their daily routine. Morning begins with preparing themselves to attract customers, often truck drivers, migrant workers, or even men from wealthy urban areas. Their families depend on the money they earn, not for luxuries, but for the most basic needs: food, medicine, and repaying debts. The village economy revolves around their earnings. Parents, siblings, and even extended family members rely on their daughters or sisters to bring in income. It's not a choice, it's a necessity, born out of desperation, a legacy of survival. In Alwar, prostitution isn't seen as an anomaly, it's seen as a tradition. For generations, families have been trapped in this cycle, unable to escape the chains of poverty and societal expectations. Mothers who once stood on these roads now prepare their daughters for the same fate. Fathers often turn a blind eye, unable to provide alternatives, and brothers, though unwilling, watch helplessly as their sisters bear the burden of keeping the family afloat. One girl we met shared her story. "I hate this life, but if I refuse, my family will starve. My mother did it for us. Now it's my turn." A community of silence. In these villages, silence is the norm. Neighbors know what's happening but rarely speak about it. It's an unspoken rule. Survival comes first and judgment has no place here. But this silence allows the cycle to persist, leaving the next generation with little hope for change. But why these villages? Why has prostitution become the only means of survival for so many families in Alwar? To answer these questions, we must explore the root causes: poverty, inequality, and the crushing weight of debt. Part 3. Root Causes, a cycle without escape. Poverty and inequality. Alwar, nestled in the shadow of Rajasthan's grandeur, hides a grim reality. Crippling poverty that chains generations. In this desolate land, where farming is nearly impossible and industries are absent, survival itself is a daunting task. Poverty here isn't just a circumstance, it's an inheritance, passed down like a cursed legacy. A poignant story from a mother echoes this harsh truth. "I once dreamed of a better future for my daughter, but after my husband's death, all doors closed, and I had to open the only one left." This choice wasn't really a choice at all. It was survival in its rawest, most heartbreaking form. Have you ever thought about how poverty can trap entire generations in a cycle they didn't choose? Lack of education and opportunities. In these villages, hope fades early, as most girls never even set foot in a classroom. Education, seen as a path to freedom elsewhere, is an unattainable luxury here. For families that can barely afford food, sending a child to school feels impossible. Even for the few who dare to dream and somehow complete basic schooling, the harsh truth awaits. What jobs exist for us? A question often asked, rarely answered. Without meaningful opportunities, education becomes a hollow promise, leaving young girls vulnerable to the very cycle they hope to escape. Do you believe that education alone is enough to break such a deep-seated cycle of exploitation? Or does change demand more than just classrooms? Crushing debt. If poverty is the root, debt is the vine that strangles these families. Moneylenders prey on desperation, offering loans with exorbitant interest rates that make repayment almost impossible. When the debts spiral out of control, human lives become currency. Girls, often mere children, are offered as collateral to settle these unpayable loans, a fate sealed long before they understand what it means. A young girl recounted her family's struggle. "I wasn't asked. One day I was just told this is what you must do to save us." Imagine the crushing weight of knowing your life was traded away before you even had the chance to dream. How would you endure such a burden? Part 4. Meera's story, a light in the darkness. In a small village in Alwar, 19-year-old Meera wakes up to another day. Her mornings are like a ritual. She carefully applies makeup, dresses in bright colors, and waits by the roadside. But her thoughts are far from ordinary. While others might think about school, friends, or dreams of the future, Meera's thoughts are about survival. Each passing truck or car could bring a client, and with it, a way to feed her family for another day. Her family's burden. Meera's father passed away when she was just 13, leaving her family in debt. Her mother, already burdened by poverty, had no choice but to turn to the family tradition to provide for her children. Soon, Meera followed in her footsteps. "I didn't want this life, but without me, my siblings would have to beg. How could I let that happen?" Meera's younger sister, Anaya, is only 10 years old. Despite their circumstances, Meera dreams of a different future for her. Anaya must go to school. She must break free from this life. Every night, as Meera counts the money she's earned, she sets a small amount aside for Anaya's education. The glimmer of hope. One day, Meera heard about a local NGO working in her village. They offered vocational training programs, teaching skills like sewing and embroidery, to help women earn an income without turning to prostitution. Curious but skeptical, Meera decided to join. It was the first time she'd held a needle and thread, but her determination carried her through. After months of training, Meera began taking small orders from neighbors, repairing clothes, stitching blouses, and creating simple designs. Though the income was modest, it was the first step toward independence. For the first time in my life, I felt like I had a choice. I didn't have to stand by the roadside anymore. The struggle continues. But leaving behind the life of prostitution isn't easy. Many of Meera's clients became angry when she refused to work, and her family, dependent on her earnings, struggled to accept her decision. The pressure was immense, and Meera often wondered if she had made the right choice. Some nights, I feel like giving up. But then I look at Anaya and remember why I'm doing this. Will Meera succeed in breaking the cycle for her family? Or will the weight of tradition and poverty pull her back into the darkness? Her story is a testament to the resilience of women in Alwar, who fight every day for a better future, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Part 5. Efforts for change. Is it enough? While the struggles in Alwar remain overwhelming, there are beacons of hope in the form of NGOs and grassroots initiatives working to break the cycle. These organizations recognize that the issue of prostitution in these villages is deeply rooted in systemic problems like poverty, illiteracy, and lack of resources. Education, the key to breaking the cycle. One of the most impactful ways to change the future is by educating the next generation. NGOs have established schools in some villages, offering free education to girls who would otherwise be forced into prostitution. Education gives these girls a chance to dream beyond the confines of their circumstances. Anaya, Meera's younger sister, now attends one of these schools. She comes home every day with stories of what she learned. She talks about becoming a teacher one day. For the first time, I feel hope for her future. However, these schools often face challenges: limited funding. Many rely on donations and struggle to keep their doors open. Resistance from families. Some parents, desperate for income, hesitate to send their daughters to school. Vocational training, a path to independence. For women like Meera, who are already trapped in the cycle, vocational training offers a lifeline. Programs in Alwar teach women skills like sewing and embroidery, crafting handmade goods like jewelry or textiles, basic entrepreneurship, helping them start small businesses. These skills not only provide an alternative source of income, but also restore a sense of dignity and control over their lives. However, scaling these programs remains a challenge, as the demand far exceeds the available resources. Psychological and medical support. The trauma faced by women in these villages is immense. Many suffer from physical abuse, emotional scars, and chronic health issues due to their work. NGOs have begun providing counseling services to help women and girls process their trauma, health checkups to address untreated medical conditions, workshops on self-care to empower them to prioritize their well-being. For years, I felt like I wasn't even human, one woman shared. But now, I'm learning to see myself differently. Economic alternatives. Building sustainable futures. Long-term change requires economic opportunities that can sustain entire communities. Some NGOs are working to bring industries like weaving or farming to these villages, creating jobs that don't rely on exploitation. For example, a women's cooperative in Alwar now produces handmade textiles sold in cities like Jaipur and Delhi. The initiative has not only provided income, but has also united women in a shared purpose. For the first time, we're working together, not just for survival, but for a better future. But are these efforts enough to dismantle generations of systemic poverty and exploitation? Or is the cycle too deeply ingrained to break? The challenge is ahead. Despite these efforts, progress is slow. For every girl who escapes the cycle, there are many more who remain trapped. Systemic issues like corruption in local governance, societal stigma against women who try to leave prostitution, and a lack of widespread support for these programs. These barriers make it difficult to achieve lasting change. We're planting seeds of hope, one NGO worker explained, but it will take years, perhaps generations, to see the full harvest. A call to action. The work being done in Alwar is a reminder that change is possible, but it requires collective effort. From supporting NGOs to raising awareness, every action counts. The women and girls of Alwar deserve more than survival. They deserve a chance to thrive. Part 6, a call for awareness. What can you do? You can help by raising awareness. Share this video to educate others about the issue. Supporting financially. Donate to organizations working directly in these communities. Taking action locally. Look for ways to support similar programs in your area. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below and let us know which story you'd like us to explore next. See you in the next video, where we'll uncover more hidden truths from around the world.